Yo, you know that stick that I was talking about in my other video? Yeah. That stick that was made, that was when that stick was made, the parents of that stick were definitely listening to the Champions League music whilst they were making love. Yeah? Whilst that stick was created, that Champions League music was in the background. You know that stick that can only be held, it's like Excalibur, like only people of a certain cloth, only teams that have won the big year trophy can hold. You know that stick? You know the stick that these Arsenal fans were in my DMs talking about, like the first 10 minutes of the final. These Arsenal fans were in my DMs talking about, right, you've been disarmed. Just said it's been disarmed. You ain't got that stick no more. Well, guess what? I still got it. And you see, to all them Arsenal fans that were in my DMs, even family, listen, this stick don't know about family, don't know about friends. Listen, you see all of you lot, But you see, when it's all said and done, please, I beg, when it's all said and done, can we just be friends? Because although the fan base is delusional, biased, although the team is just negative football, although the manager is possibly the most annoying manager there's ever been in the Premier League, you lot know how to party. Yeah, I'll give you that. You lot know how to party. Furthermore, you lot are the culture. When it comes to this football thing, yeah, see, like the fan side of things, you lot are the culture. You lot are the vibe. Like, those street parties, the parade, it looked like Carney. I can't lie, it looked like Carney. If you were selling tickets to those street parties, if there was like a parade party, like venue, everything, I would have bought furthermore, I would have bought a table. VIP tickets at least. Yeah, light show, everything. Trust me, I would have been there. But your team stinks. Bad odor, no hygiene, just stinking up the place. Come out my yard, stinking up the place. So let's talk about it. Football wins. Football wins. PSG beat Arsenal on penalties in what was a pretty one-sided yet tightly contested final. Both teams, surprisingly, had fully fit squads to pick from. PSG had their usual first 11. Arteta picked Mosquera, Odegaard and Havertz over Timber, Eze and Gyökeres. But after 5 minutes, it looked like a masterstroke. If you watch my previous video, yeah, I definitely said start Mosquera, but I also said start Eze and start Gyökeres. But after 5 minutes, like, yeah, people were on me. They were saying, oh, I told you Havertz needs to start. And I had to say, oh, cool. I had to accept it. Yeah, it looked like a masterstroke after 5 minutes. But scoring so early also made the team even more negative. Like 11 men behind the ball. Big red bus just getting parked on the pitch in a Champions League final. And for the next 60 minutes, it was basically attack vs defence. It was attack vs defence with Gabriel, MLS and Mosquera, with the help of Saka, closing every door that PSG tried to open. Until the 66th minute, neat little 1-2, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele got the wrong side of Mosquera, brought him down penalty. Dembele clinically tucked it away like there were no pressure. No pressure from the Ballon d'Or winner. Arteta reacted though, I'll give him that. This is where Arteta has improved. He reacts. In the past, he's always been slow to react, but he reacts nowadays. So straight away, he brought off Mosquera. Like I said in my video, I said, you know, you start Mosquera, You tell him to be aggressive. If he picks up bookings or whatnot, you get him off, you bring on Timber. And that's what he done. He brought on Timber, brought off Odegaard as well, and he brought on Gyökeres. So then Kai Havertz dropped in a 10. But really and truly, it was more like a 4-4-2, because like I said, off the ball, all 11 men were behind the ball. So yeah, he's brought on Gyökeres, he brought on Timber, and it weathered the storm a little bit, but it was the same thing really and truly, because Gyökeres couldn't hold it up front. Pacho was all over him, Marquinhos was all over him, and one or two times that he did manage to roll the defender or whatnot, his team are knackered, because they've just been chasing the ball for the whole game, so they couldn't even get up to support him. So yeah, it was the same thing. It was just, PSG were probing away, trying to find chances. Then came the finishers, as Arteta calls them. Martinelli, Madueke, they came on for Trossard and Saka. They gave Arsenal a threat on the counter-attack. They did. They got pace. So now they also got fresh legs to support Gyökeres, who was doing a terrible job at this point of holding the ball up. But one or two times, they did manage to break away through the pace of Martinelli and mainly Madueke. So yeah, they had a little bit more of a threat. But then Enrique countered the substitution. And Enrique then brought off Kvaratskhelia and later Dembele for Barcola and Ramos, who took advantage of the space that Arsenal was leaving due to fatigue. Barcola probably could have scored a couple of goals, could have squared one of them to Ramos, who would have had a tapping in the box. And it was 1-1 at 90 minutes. Extra time played out just like the first half and the second half. Attack vs defence. Penalties came. We all know what happens next. But I was shocked to see Gabriel take the 5th penalty when Zubimendi and Noni are on the pitch. Bearing in mind that Noni not long ago was trying to fight Cole Palmer for Chelsea to take a penalty. Yet, in the Champions League final, you're letting your centre-back take the 5th most important penalty. Stinks. Was it a pen? Was it a pen? Listen, the Arsenal fans in my DM are going crazy up until this day. They're swearing on everything they love that it was a pen. But, they're emotional. When you look at it, the initial contact in the box was made by Noni, which is weird. And it's another strange decision by Noni. 1, not to take the penalty, and 2, to wait to your goal side of your defender to then wrap your arm around his, fall to the floor, which then brings the defender down to try and get a penalty. When you're goal side, once you're goal side, he can't touch you. If you didn't initiate contact, you would have stayed on your feet. You could have had a shot at goal, or you could have squared it. But, it's the dark arts. The dark arts. But they didn't work how they work in the Premiership. It didn't work. It went against you. That's what happened. So for me, it wasn't a penalty. Let me know in the comments if you think otherwise. Another talking point was the Saka handball. In the context of the game nowadays, that's a stonewall penalty. There was also a Trossard handball, which basically assisted Havertz for his goal. That didn't get called up either. Didn't hear Arteta complaining about that. Standout players for the game, I think, was Ruiz. Up until he got taken off, Ruiz was outstanding. He was the best midfielder on the pitch. He was the only midfielder that was going beyond Dembele, because sometimes in PSG's build-up play, Dembele would move out wide to get space, or drop into the 10 position, and then there was no one really occupying the box, and Ruiz was started to do that. He started to see that, you know, there was a space there that needed to be filled. I don't know if he made that adjustment himself or if Enrique had a word with him, but he definitely started to occupy that space. He also started to run beyond the centre forward. A few times he should have been played in. He was tidy in possession. He was winning his duels. And he was backing up Mendes when he needed it. Well, not that he needed it much against Saka, but he was there to back up Mendes. Or when Mendes went forward, he was there to fill in the space. So for me, Ruiz was the best player on the pitch until he got taken off. João Neves, he started the game rather nervous, but you got to remember his age. I think Neves is still 20. I don't even know if he's 21 yet. So he did start the game kind of looking his age. Not giving away the ball, not making any mistakes or anything like that, but he was playing within himself. So the ball would get passed to him from the centre-backs. And instead of taking it on the half turn, checking his shoulders and whatnot, you know, on the half turn, so his body is half open to play forward, he looked nervous. He was receiving the ball with his back to the game. And then the only way he has to then play the way he's facing, which is backwards, which is something that we don't really see from him. That's how he started the game, a little bit nervous. He needed to feel the game, you know what I mean, before he kind of got into it. But gradually he got more and more into the game. He was winning all of his duels. He was making good tackles, winning back possession high up the pitch. He was neat and tidy on the ball. He was covering all the ground. He was winning duels with players like Declan Rice that he had no right winning this duel with. He was winning aerial duels. He's about 5'6". The amount of aerial duels I see him winning was outrageous. So yeah, João Neves is another standout player. Hakimi. I don't think Hakimi had a great game, but the reason why I've got him on my standout player list is he had a good game, but the fact that he started, and not only, Hakimi played 90 minutes. I'm pretty sure he played 90 minutes. Hakimi took a Hakimi played 120 minutes. Do you know, this guy shouldn't have even started. He done his hamstring not too long ago. And with hamstring injuries, there's different levels. His one was a grade 2, I believe, which isn't the most severe, but it isn't the least severe either. So for him to not just be fit enough to be in the squad, but fit enough to start, considering the profile player that is, considering his style of play, which is very explosive, full tilt. Do you know what I mean? He's not a tick attacker, man. He is very explosive. So considering all those things, he had to be on my standout player list because he did not look like a player that was returning from a hamstring injury. And he scored his pen. So yeah, Hakimi's on there. For Arsenal, I'll say Gabby. I think Gabby was, obviously up until the penalty, outstanding. I think he was outstanding. I didn't put him in my combined 11, but when I saw him play in that final, I was thinking, ooh. And when I saw Pacho play, Pacho looked nervous. Pacho looked like how João Neves looked. But João Neves worked his way through it and came out the other side, whereas Pacho kind of remained within himself. I think the occasion got to him a little bit. So yeah, Gabby was outstanding. Mosquera, obviously, apart from the penalty, I think Mosquera, along with help from Saka, to be honest, to be fair, got to give it to Saka. He was doubling up as much as he could. Mosquera done well against Kvaratskhelia because he won his early duels. Because Kvaratskhelia, he's going to test you early as soon as he gets the ball. Once he won a couple of those early duels, Kvaratskhelia, you realise, okay, for me to beat this defender, it's going to take some doing. It's not, I'm going to have to go all out, full tilt. So it made Kvaratskhelia think, whereas more often than not, once Kvaratskhelia knows he's got the beating of you, He's relentless. But Kvaratskhelia, he had a poor game for me. He wasn't Maradona, as I heard these pundits calling him, the second coming of Maradona. The PR spin is crazy. He definitely weren't that. So yeah, he definitely weren't the second coming of Messi. All this PR spin I hear about Kvaratskhelia wasn't that on the night. So yeah, Mosquera's in there as a standout player. Also MLS. I think MLS went under the radar. His performance. I heard pundits as usual talking about Declan Rice. Listen, there was one midfielder in that midfield for Arsenal that stood up, yeah, and that was MLS. He was outstanding. He was busy, winning duels, using the dark arts. He was diving when he... That's one thing with MLS. For a young player, he proper understands the occasion. He proper, he knows how to win a free kick. These little things that you think come with experience, he already knows these things. He knows how to get under players' skin. He's always talking to the opposition, trying to get under their skin. He knows how to put his body, he'll put his backside in between the player, the opposition, and the ball to win a free kick. He understands those little nuances of the game, which is very impressive considering his age. So yeah, and he's progressive with the ball at his feet, whether that's passing forward, whether that's driving forward. His recovery runs, especially the standout one against Doué late on in the game, outstanding. But, as usual, the PR spin, going to give Declan all the credit. I'm surprised he didn't get man of the match. But yeah, so disappointing players. I've already mentioned a couple of them. Kvaratskhelia, definitely disappointed. For, they're talking Ballon d'Or, second coming of Messi and Maradona and whatnot. He won the penalty, but that might have been one of 3 times that he actually got the wrong side of his fullback. So yeah, for me, and he got hooked. So that tells it all. Disappointing for me. Rice, disappointing again, coming up against world-class midfielders, which you're supposed to be, and not performing. We saw this against City when Rodri came back from injury, and he's up against City. Rodri's in the midfield, Bernardo's in the midfield. Rice went missing. And it happened again in the final. Rice went missing. If he didn't go missing, levels were shown. Levels were definitely shown. Pacho, listen, I gave you the big talk. The big talking up before the game, combined 11. I'm saying top 5, maybe even top 3 centre-backs in the world. But yeah, nerves got to him. Lost his composure a little bit. That mentality, that these things that will come with experience. Yeah, disappointing for me. Pacho. Odegaard. Arsenal's number 10. I believe he made 6 passes. Terrible. He's becoming... Does anyone remember Mason Mount? When the PR spin was running, the PR spin and train was running heavy for Mason Mount at Chelsea and for England. Who remembers when England's number 10, out and out starting number 10, was Mason Mount? And we were all campaigning saying, no, Dele Alli, even Ross Barkley at the time. We were saying anyone but Mason Mount. Mason Mount as England's 10, it just didn't... It just wasn't right. And the reasons that managers had to pick Mason Mount at number 10 was always negative reasons that you don't associate with a number 10. Well, not the initial reasons to pick someone at number 10. They'll say, oh, he works hard. He's disciplined. He presses really brilliantly. He's tireless. These are all words associated with Odegaard right now. He's the first line of press, great fitness, great work ethic. He's a number 10. Let me hear something a bit more. Let me hear some pizzazz. What's going on? Arsenal's number 10, the first thing they tell you is he works hard. Okay. So should every professional footballer. Like, where are we going with this? Anyway, moving on. The other disappointing player for me was Saka. He done well in defence, backing up Mosquera against Kvaratskhelia. But going forward, not one time did I see him beat Mendes. Not one time did I see him beat the fullback. It's poor. I think he made 4 passes. Between him and Odegaard, 10 passes combined. It's poor. It stinks. This is this other supposed world-class winger. Like, we saw Elise against Mendes. We saw that twice. Even in the second game when Elise didn't get the better of him, he still had moments. He still attempted, he still had belief that he can make something happen, and it still looked like he might make something happen. And he did make something happen, just not as many times as Mendes stopped him from making something happen. But in the first game, he got the better of him. Second game, he didn't, but made a good attempt. Saka, we're not... Where is that? Where is it? Where is it? The World Cup's coming soon, my boy. We need to see it. We need to see star boy Saka again. When is the... in the comments, please, Arsenal fans, let me know. When is the last time we saw star boy Saka? Because I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. So, yeah, Arsenal finished the game with the least possession, 24%, in the Champions League final since 03-04? Yeah, 03-04. 1 shot on target. 0.48 expected goals. Long throws, celebrating corners, taking set pieces from deep in their own half. Telling Raya to pump it long into the box. Bear in mind, this is the first half. This is the beginning of the second half. This isn't the last 5 minutes of the game or anything like that. Stinks. Stinks. And they say, they combat it by saying, well, we stopped the best team, the best team, the team with the best attack in the world. We stopped them from creating and whatnot. Listen, if you want to hold on to that as a consolation, fair enough. They go on about, this is the team that pumped Liverpool, such and such. They pumped Chelsea, such and such. Yeah, but Liverpool and Chelsea had a go of it. So we don't use that as a stick to beat them with. We might, but your stick is worse, bro. Like, if we're talking boxing, it's the equivalent of a fighter going in there and just trying to survive, not throwing no punches, just tucking up and just taking his beating. Whereas Liverpool, Chelsea, they might have got knocked out. They didn't hear the final bell, but they were throwing punches back. That's why they got knocked out. Because they were trying to win. They were trying to fight. You just curled up in the fetal position, covered up all your vital organs, and you managed to survive. If you want a trophy for that, fair enough. But you see, finals, you got to win them, my boy. You can't just not lose them. And I think that's where Arteta went wrong. He blatantly set up that team not to lose rather than to win. And a final, you have to win. Final has to be won by someone.